Hey guys, Elizabeth. Welcome to the Four Walls podcast. Today I have Lindsay with me. Welcome. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for being here.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lindsay. I currently live in Tokyo, in Japan, and yeah, that's me. I make some videos. Maybe we'll get into it a little bit later, but I make videos on the internet about my life in Japan, and I'm happy to be here with Elizabeth today to chat about it.
Yes,
Yeah,
especially Japan. I feel like everyone is talking about Japan nowadays. Everyone's like, I'm going this month or next year.
everyone is coming to Japan these days. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, so
It's a
what is
lot.
one of, I could only imagine, I've seen the internets of things or it's translated where they're like, oh my gosh, these tourists.
Yeah, it really is like that every day. Oh my gosh, these tourists. That's my life these days.
So what's one of your favorite neighborhoods in Tokyo?
Recently, this is kind of like a wild card from me because I don't even know why this is my answer because I don't even really spend too much time there. But recently, I've been really into going to the Ginza area.
Hmm.
And it's not like it's hard to pick a favorite because each neighborhood in Tokyo is just so different from one another, and it really depends on like your mood, what you want to do, how you're feeling that day. But right now, I'm really in a Ginza kind of vibe, I guess, and I don't know why because I would have never said that maybe like 5 months ago or like even like 2 months ago, but maybe it's because it's like the holidays and like Ginza feels like a nice little fancy holiday excursion. The lights are really beautiful. It's like a whole thing. Yeah. Sorry, my dog is screaming.
That's,
Sorry.
oh man, yeah, that's definitely a good neighborhood. What's one of the things that you find yourself like doing while you're in that neighborhood?
Well, recently, I guess like my whole thing, because of like the tourists that we mentioned earlier, my whole thing is to try to like avoid the tourists, but still like avoid the touristy areas, but still kind of like live my life peacefully.
Hmm.
And so whenever I go to these like sort of touristy areas, sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, so my favorite thing to do in Ginza, yeah, kind of like what I was saying. I kind of like finding pockets within the really touristy areas that don't feel as touristy, that still feel like kind of special, and then kind of like sharing it, not to like, I'm multitasking. But yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I should just keep this short. Recently, I've been really liking going to like galleries. I really like going to the galleries in Ginza because there's actually, I think a lot of people have been going there recently because of like the shopping, and there's like a really famous like stationery store there, but there's also a really lot of really beautiful art galleries
Mm,
in Ginza that I don't know if a lot of people know about. Maybe they do. I don't know. But yeah,
yeah,
some of my favorites are there.
that's awesome. I'll definitely have to look into that next time. I don't think I've ever heard anyone associate the art galleries with Ginza. I feel like it's always like
Yeah.
shopping or stuff like that.
Yeah, I actually don't know why there's so many, but maybe it's because it's like Ginza gives like a very like rich vibe, and maybe like
Hmm.
rich people go shopping and then they also go shopping for art, so maybe it's like a whole rich people world that you're entering, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, something like.
Yeah. Don't quote me, but that's just what it is.
What was one of the hardest things that you found in your transition moving into Tokyo?
Getting into it. I feel like, oh, there's so many things, and I think that I'm like still kind of dealing with it. I think initially the hardest thing for me was up until like moving here, I had always studied Japanese, but because like no
Hmm.
one in my home, the home that I grew up in, like none of my parents don't speak any sort of Japanese. My grandparents didn't really speak either, and I always took it in class. But when I moved here, I thought that everything that I had learned up until that point would help me in some way. And it really didn't. And that was like a huge wake up call. It was kind of crazy because I think like I thought that I knew the basics, but then when you don't apply those basics that you learn in class to like everyday life, it's just for me, it was just like completely useless. And so I was really struggling the first month that I came here because I had to turn on my electricity and I had to get a new apartment. I had to get a phone number. It was
Hmm.
just like all these like adult life things that you don't really think is going to be that difficult in a new country ends up being like the most stressful thing. And so like I got stress hives. It was a whole thing, and that was really intense. Yeah. It was I thought that I was going to leave, honestly. I 3 months in, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. This is such an intense transition. I think I was like 28 or something when I moved here. And I was like, I'm too old for this, but I stuck it out. And now 7 years later, I'm still here. But I think kind of like what I was saying, or going back to what I was saying earlier, like the thing that I'm still kind of dealing with too has been still a big transition for me is finding community in a new
Hmm.
country just because of cultural and language barriers. That's been kind of a challenge for me still.
Yeah. So do you find yourself like associating more with the foreigners that are also moving there, or have you found like a good like local community?
I was actually just like talking to my therapist about this yesterday because I a big reason why I moved here is because I'm ethnically, Japanese on both
Hmm.
of my parents. And so when I moved here, I was like, oh, I'm going to be with my people. I'm going to finally feel like I belong. Like growing up in America, it's always just kind of like, who am I? I'm a family of
Hmm.
immigrants. Like, I don't know where I like came from. And so like a big reason for me coming back here was to feel a little bit more rooted because I'm so American. I just
Hmm.
felt it amplifies the Americanness side of me, and I'm still trying to like figure out how to exist as myself here where I thought that I was going to like find some kind of roots, and I am, but it's just a little bit different than I pictured. So yes, I think I like kind of balance both. Like I do have a lot of friends like in the sort of who are foreigners who have also moved here from New York and have made lives here. And I love all my friends so much. But I also try to make sure to engage and like have friends who are like locals as well. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
I can
try to
only
have a
imagine how
balance.
hard that is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot more difficult than I think. I think the whole like making friends aspect is a lot more difficult than I anticipated and like one might think.
Hmm.
Because I think I'm like a pretty outgoing person. I love having like conversations with like strangers, but that's just like the culture is just so different here that those opportunities aren't as frequent. Yeah.
See, I wouldn't have guessed that being like the cultural thing because I feel like I mean, the few times that I've been, I'm always seeing like people outside and like always big groups of like friends associating. So you would think that it'd be like easy to kind of just like make your way into those social groups,
Yeah, a lot
like
of
as an
people,
outsider.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and yeah, 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 yeah. I think a big thing for me too was just learning that until you like move to like a different country and experience like
Hmm.
living in a different culture, like you're just so in your own bubble and in your own world that you don't realize that things are different in other places. That might seem
Hmm.
so obvious, but then it's like when I moved here, I was just kind of expecting to operate and live my life the same way, but
Hmm.
it's you can't. That's just not how it is.
Yeah,
But
yeah, because it's
yeah.
completely different.
Yeah, yeah, it's completely different. And so like with like the tourists too, sometimes, it's like they come here and then they kind of like expect to like live their lives the same way that they do in their home country, which, I completely understand because I was kind of like that when I first came here, but it is good to remember that you're not in your country and it's not the
Hmm.
same way. Things aren't done the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was actually something I was talking to somebody else about where they're like, you have to at least know the basics of like when you're going and you're gonna try to be a part of
Mm.
like the community, you have to like do your research. So it's not like you're bringing that American mindset and being like, this is the new place and I'm in a different location, but it's still America. And it's like, it's not America. You're no longer in America. You have to let it go.
Yeah. It's funny because like I think not to put my mom on blast, but I will because I can, but she's not going to be happy about it. But like I took her to a museum when she came here, or just like even walking around the city with her, like she was constantly like, I think maybe it's like an American thing to like want to touch everything that they see.
Mm-hmm.
And or it's like my mom was just like constantly like, "Ooh, look at this. Ooh, look at this." And I'm like, "Mom, please stop touching all the things. Like no one else around you touches stuff like this." But then like I also remember that when I first moved here, my husband Ray was like, "You need to stop touching everything." And I was like, it's just like, yeah, oops. Yeah, oops. But then I'm like noticing that there's like I've been a lot more aware of like how different tourists kind of like interact with like Tokyo, and
Mm-hmm.
I think Americans be touching stuff, which is like
They do. We do.
yeah, we do. And my friend said that Americans also like to lean against something. Like if there's something like a little wall, like Americans like to like kind of just like put their I mean, I'm generalizing, but I know I like to lean too. So
Yeah,
it's
I think I
interesting. Just like
saw.
no,
There was something online that was like you could tell it's an American if they have their weight shifted to one leg. It's like,
that's so funny. Yeah, I wonder why that's a thing though. Yeah,
who
that's
knows?
that's so true. Yeah.
So, if you could like give some advice to like any tourists coming, like what are some of the things that they should be aware of, like the social etiquette cues that maybe we don't know that are like actually upsetting like local people?
If it's like upsetting local people, but I think it's more of just like I think if you see no locals do like I think maybe a good rule of thumb is if you don't see any locals doing what you are thinking about doing, then maybe don't do it.
Mm.
For example, like I see a lot of I'll come across a lot of tourists who are like sitting on sidewalks, and that's not generally like a thing, like on a ledge on a sidewalk, and that's generally not something that a
Mm.
lot of Japanese people will do unless there's like a bench. So it's just like if you don't see, yeah, I think because also there's like so many YouTube videos and like TikToks where it's like things not to do in Japan. Like Japanese people will get so mad. And it's like, okay, but you're also like rage baiting and also like it's very clickbaity type of content
Hmm.
that I don't generally agree with all the time. Because it's like, don't eat and walk, which is like, okay, yeah, don't be like eating like a whole sandwich and like walking around town. But like if you need to eat like a little snack or like a little gummy, like no one's gonna like be staring at you if you're like
Hmm.
you need a little sugar boost, I don't know. It's just like
Yeah.
I don't really like those videos where it's like 10 things to not do in Japan because it's just like
Hmm.
just like look around, when you're here and be respectful, I think. That's my take,
Just
but maybe it's
and
a
don't
hot
touch
take.
things.
I don't know. Yeah, and so yeah, mom, don't touch things. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's so funny when you go to other places and you like don't even realize the things that you do back at home that are like, I would have never noticed that this is weird outside of America.
Yeah, it's like it really is like yeah, it really was like a huge like kind of cultural shift for me when I first came here, but and I'm still learning, like there's still so much that I don't know. Yeah. But it is because like for so much of the time that I was living here too, it was also during COVID. I think like we were shut down for maybe like 2 or 3 years. And so I was here for a year and then COVID happened. And then so so a lot of the time that I've been living here, like maybe half of it has been during COVID. And so I kind of forgot what it was like with the tourists. And so when the borders opened back up, everyone, and because the yen has
Hmm.
been doing great, like just a lot of people have been coming through, and I'm like, this is what it's like, It's kind
Interesting.
of
So how
intense.
was it?
Yeah.
How was it during COVID? Was like just freeing?
It was, well, I think maybe the first year we didn't really leave our apartment too much. And we
Hmm.
had just moved into like a new spot. And the apartments here are generally like a lot smaller than ones in like the States. And so it felt quite cramped. And we were both like, my husband and I were with each other like 24/7, like working out of the new apartment. And we didn't move into that apartment thinking that we would be stuck in there day and night. And so that was kind of tough. But
Hmm.
after that, it was like once were able to kind of like go out and start like going on walks and like going on short trips, that was quite nice because it was quite empty. um, yeah. Not saying that I want that to happen again, but
No,
it
of
was just
course,
like
of
the, yeah.
course. But it was probably nice to be able to like do things and not feel like you're like shoulder to shoulder with other people, I'm sure.
Yeah, like one of the crazier things was like during like in because you hear about like how sorry, I'll come back into the screen. You hear about like how crowded Kyoto can get.
Hmm.
And it's just like packed with tourists, and I just don't think that that city has like the infrastructure for that many people, like that kind of like traffic flow of like humans.
Hmm.
But we were able to go a couple of times when the country was still shut down, and it was really nice.
Yeah, definitely. I feel bad for the people that live in Kyoto because you can see like how cramped it gets, especially on like the buses that there are and even the trains out there. And
Yeah,
it's just like, I'm sorry.
I know. I think, and I hope that the city will like start to have more like measures. I think that, wait, sorry, go back. I think that they're going to start implementing like new rules to make it like life a little bit more. You know what? No, I'm not erase that because I need to like fact check. But I hope that things become more, yes.
Yes. I know that Japan is implementing a bunch of new, like, what your visa, I think they're increasing the visa prices. I think they're like increasing the hotel taxes. I've seen some stuff about that circulating through social media, like coming in 2026.
Yeah, stop that. Sorry. He's being, stop that, please. I'm sorry. Please stop. Yeah, no, I did see that too, and I saw that they're gonna start having like the tax free is not gonna be like the tax free shopping is gonna like I think the rates are gonna go up or something like that too, or like there's like a limit, or
Hmm.
they're gonna change the process to make it a little bit more difficult, which like is not amazing for well, I shouldn't say anything if I don't know. I have to do my research on I don't want to misspeak. I don't want to misspeak. But I do think it would be great if things became a little bit easier for the locals because I also
Hmm.
have like a friend who lives near Mount Fuji and it sounds because I think like a lot of people, did you hear about like the Lawson with like the view of Mount Fuji in the
Hmm.
back? And that's
Yeah.
become like kind of, yeah, she's always kind of like talking about how there's just not a lot of like respect for the businesses and like the local town and yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what the solution is because I'm not a politician. But,
Hmm.
I hope that there's something where more respect, I guess, is shown
Hmm.
for these public spaces that the locals also use.
Yeah, I feel like that would ultimately come down to like you would hope being just like posting signs or something would be enough, but ultimately it comes down to the tourists and like their levels of respect for things. And
Yeah.
it's hard because, I feel like Japan has a very community-based kind of like they all like you care for each other and the people around you and stuff like that. Whereas like a lot of, Westerners come from an individual-based community. So it's like they're
Yeah.
like, oh, well, I got what I wanted, so it's okay, now I can go.
Yeah, it's also interesting like being from America and like living here and kind of like understanding like both cultures. Yeah. 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 It's been really interesting to kind of just see all the tourists come back in and just like kind of experience. But not to say like I think that, the tourism is good. I think it's good that because Japan can sometimes feel society the Japanese society can sometimes feel like a bubble. And so I do think that like the exposure to like the outside world is also like needed. So, yeah, I think pros and cons, to like
Always
most
pros
things.
and
So,
cons.
yeah, always pros and cons. Yeah.
So, what are some of the other things that to like get the tourists out of like the touristy areas? What would you
Yeah.
recommend them looking into?
Like, what do I recommend to tourists for getting out of like the touristy areas?
Yeah, like in Tokyo, like if you were like, oh, instead of going to like, I mean, everyone's gonna go to Shibuya, obviously, but like
Yeah, yeah,
maybe
yeah.
like also go to this place instead or as well.
Yeah, I feel like if it's your first time, like obviously going to like Shibuya, Shinjuku, Ginza are all going to be like, everyone's going to do those because those are like the fun, exciting places like Asakusa. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I guess it just really depends on like what your interests are. Like if you like I know that more people because of like the internet have been branching out and going to like Koenji for like thrifting. Like 5 years like I don't know, like 5, 7 years ago, more people were starting to go out to Shimokitazawa for thrifting, and now they've moved to Koenji. And so I feel like the tourists are like slowly figuring out the different pockets that people can go to, which is good because I think that they're like
Hmm.
Tokyo is like so big and it's so
Hmm.
dense that there's just so much to do in every area that you go to. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Like my husband and I love like eating and finding like small restaurants that are like have been in business for like, I don't know, like 50 years or something. So that's something that we always kind of like to look forward to on the weekend and then finding like cute like art spots and local like bookstores and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Tips for finding those things? I don't know. Maybe I don't want to like self promote, but that's like what my whole Instagram is about.
No,
And
yeah.
so
So just go check out her Instagram. You'll find all the tips you need.
yeah, sorry. I'm still kind of like weird about doing that, but I guess yeah, that's something that I try to promote a lot is trying to or going to check out the different areas of Tokyo because they're all great. They're all fun.
Yeah, and you never know what you're gonna find. I definitely found that like
Yeah.
the small doors or like the alleyway restaurants are always the most fun and like intimate.
Yeah, I think it is a bit intimidating, but I think if you go into these places with like an open and like respectful mind, then I think that you'll have a good time.
Hmm.
The menu might not have an English option, but or like English translation, but you're in a different country, so it's a bonus if there's English. But we have phones. Yeah, we have cell phones now that can do all of the translations for us. So yeah, I think
Yes.
yeah, Tokyo is great too because I'm always just like picking it like whenever my friends come and visit, they always are like, "Where should we go?" And I'm always like, "Tokyo's so big. There's so many options. Like I can give you a neighborhood, but once you're there, just be like a free bird and like find like you'll run definitely like run into something.
Yeah, especially with
I don't
how
know if that's
big
the
it
best
is.
advice. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's really good advice because it's like you get to walk around, see things that you might not find on social media or probably not even on Google Maps, honestly, like little shops
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So I feel like that's always kind of fun when you find the cute little mom and pop shop that's not really promoted and you're like, "Wow, look at this."
Yeah.
So, I think that's
Yeah.
really good advice.
Oh, okay, that's good.
What other cities outside of, the big three of Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka, like what other cities would you recommend tourists visit?
That's a really hard question, Elizabeth, because I think it's also similar to like Tokyo. It kind of depends on like, what your interests are.
Hmm.
I think another like good major city is Sapporo in Hokkaido. I've only been a couple of times, but each time I've gone, the food has been amazing. They have really good dairy up there, really good seafood. They're known for their crab, especially like in the winter time. They're also famous for melons.
Mm,
So if you like
love
fruit,
that.
yeah, Hokkaido is a delicious place and lots of beautiful outdoorsy stuff to do. But I also recently went to Okinawa and I really loved my time there. I really want to go back next summer to swim with the
Mm.
manta rays.
Ooh, that'll be
Yeah.
so fun.
Yeah, I didn't know that they have like giant manta rays down there. I went to the aquarium and I like fell in love with them because they were just so big. And I was shocked. But
You know, I didn't even know there was giant manta rays. I thought they were all like the same size.
fair. But no, they were huge. You should go see them. They were like their wingspan was like I mean, this is probably not correct, but it looked like it was almost as big as the whale shark that was in the tank with them. But
Oh
they were
wow.
huge. Yeah, they're really big.
Oh,
But
did
apparently on one of the island, or maybe it's more than one, but on Ishigaki, that's one of the islands of Okinawa, you can swim with them.
only during the
Yeah, it
summers though? Is that like their migration season or?
They have like a time period. I think it's from maybe like June until, don't quote me, but I think it's like from June until like October or November or something that they're there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to go. Like that's one of like my bucket list places because I always see like the really cool diving videos and they're like, look at all the sea life and how beautiful it is. And I'm like, wow, that does look really nice.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because since I'm from Hawaii, like a lot of like what my coworker from Okinawa, he's from the main island. He's like, "Oh, Okinawa is kind of like Hawaii, but I think like everyone says that Hawaii is so much better." I shouldn't be saying his name. Wait, can you bleep that out?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I I was like, don't I was like, okay, but I feel like Okinawa looks really beautiful. There's like, it has its own culture. It has its own like special like charm points. And so, like, you know, I'm sure like, it's just as beautiful, if not more beautiful, in its own way. And so, but maybe that's like a very Japanese thing to do, to be like very modest about like where you're from. So I went, and when I came back, I was like, oh my gosh, Okinawa is such a special place. I was like, you need to be promoting it more positively because I want to go back. And everyone who goes loves it, I was like, yes, it's like Hawaii in some aspects, like the weather is really nice, the beaches are beautiful, the food is delicious. But I was like, but
Mm.
Okinawa is like its own special thing, you know? It's so different. Same but different. Yeah.
Would you recommend, well, obviously the seafood there, but is there like specific dishes there that is special to Okinawa?
They use a lot of tofu in ways that I haven't had it prepared
Really?
before. Yeah, which was I can't remember the names of them, but I remember there was one like the way that the tofu is prepared on there, there's some that are like a little bit more firm. There's some that they turn into like more, it's fermented and it becomes
Hmm.
cheese-like. Yeah, so that was really delicious. It was a really delicious experience for me. Yeah.
That sounds really good. I always say you have to try everything once, you know what I mean?
Yeah, on our last night there, we went to this sort of like traditional Okinawan restaurant, and each dish was like a local cuisine. But yeah, everything was so good.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I'll have to, if you posted about it, I'll have to go stalk your Instagram so I can find the name of the restaurant.
Yeah, please. Yeah, I have it in my like my Okinawa highlight, I think the name of the restaurant, but it
Perfect.
was really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like a multi-course thing where they're just like, all right, do they give you like the regions too?
They were kind of busy. And so I don't know
Mm.
if they like, but we had like a little paper, but it didn't say the regions, but it like said like each dish that was coming up. But yeah, it was courses. But I think that they have like beef that's Ishigaki Wagyu, I think. So like
Mm.
Wagyu is just like beef that's born and raised and bred in Japan. But yeah, they had like their own cows from Ishigaki.
Mm.
We had like some kind of fish that was off the coast of Ishigaki. It's like all kinds of yummy stuff.
Yeah, that sounds delicious. Yeah, I'm gonna write that one down for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love a good restaurant. What are some of your favorite? I'm always for the food, man. I can't lie.
Me
I'm
too.
like, just point me to where it smells good and I'll be happy.
Yeah, same.
What
I
are
love food so
like
much.
what are some of your go-to restaurants?
In Tokyo?
Hmm.
Whoa, go to restaurants in
I know that's a big
Tokyo.
one.
Is this like for me, like on my everyday, or is this me like when I have friends in town?
Well, that's a good question. Probably we could do both. Why do we have to pick?
We can do both. This is a really tricky question because, like, similar to you, I love food. And so, whenever I have an opportunity to eat out, I always pick a different place.
I am the same way. And my boyfriend hates it because he's like, why can't we? He's like, why can't we just go back to the place that we know we like? And I'm like, but what if we also like this place?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Ray, my husband is kind of similar where he's like, likes going, eating the same thing every single day. And I'm like, no, we're eating something different today. Yeah, so I really don't know because even like where I'm going tonight for dinner, I've never been to before.
Love that.
Yeah, so I don't even know. I don't even know if I have like recommendations for like my go-to restaurant.
Okay, where do you take your friends? We'll go with that one. Where do you take your friends?
Where do I? Oh my God. It's also kind of same, honestly, for when my friends are in town because I see it as an opportunity for me to go out and eat somewhere new.
I also agree. We're
I,
very like-minded on that one.
yeah, I'm sorry I don't have like a better.
No, it's okay.
answer. But you know what? This is not going to be a good piece of advice, and it's not a good insight tip at all. But sometimes, like, I really miss like an American chain, and so places
Really?
that I'll go back to frequently: TGI Fridays, Hooters, and then
That's
I recently went to Tony Roma. That was so good. I like sometimes you just miss that like American like bar food. And so whenever I'm in that mood, like those are the places that I always go back to.
I love that for you. It's like a comfort
Yeah,
food, right?
it is. It really is. And I know that that's not going to be fun for like people listening, but it's the truth.
Would you say it's better there than it is in the States?
You know what is better here than well, because I have actually never been to any of these restaurants in the States. Like I haven't been to
Hmm.
Hooters in the States. And I haven't been to TGI Fridays in the States, like, but Denny's here is really good.
I would not have guessed that.
Yeah, the menu is completely different. It's like a whole, like they got pasta, like mentaiko pasta. They got like curry, just like all the like Japanese takes on American food they have, and it's really good.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
the holidays are coming up.
Uh-huh.
Where you said Ginza is very cute in, holiday. Where are
Yeah.
some other neighborhoods that feel like Christmas?
I would say my neighborhood, but I don't want to put myself on blast, so I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
but I don't know. Japan doesn't really celebrate like Christmas in the same way. It's a
Hmm.
lot more like they love an illumination where it's like all the trees have like crazy lights on them. And it's more of like a date sort of holiday than it is like something that you spend with your family. So like we don't get Christmas off in Japan. It's
Hmm.
not like a national holiday or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe like Roppongi has like its own beautiful like illuminated like tree-lined streets, but I know that there's a lot of tourists going there like making traffic kind of crazy, but they have like a lot of like cute like pop-ups in the area. So maybe that's like a cute Christmas vibe.
Okay.
But I usually just try to bring that spirit to my home. Like I try to like
Hmm.
put up a Christmas tree.
Feed. And it was like someone saying how Japanese people think that Americans eat KFC on Christmas. So it's like a thing that they're like, oh, let's go get some KFC because it's Christmas in like America. I don't know how true that is, but it
Yeah,
was like on social media somewhere.
I don't know if it was because they thought that like Americans did it, but I think that like KFC itself saw it as like a capitalism moment where they were like, oh, we should promote KFC as like the thing to eat on Christmas in Japan. And then it just became like a big thing where it is like impossible to get KFC on Christmas, which is really funny. But there, I saw the other day in Roppongi, they actually have like a KFC Christmas restaurant where
It's
yeah, it's like
crazy.
a a KFC Christmas restaurant pop up. And so it's like you can there's like a special menu with like fancy KFC chicken on like pasta. But I think I'm actually gonna go.
And you need to go.
I really
You have
want
to
to.
go for the rest of us.
I know. I saw it. Well, I saw it on online and then I texted it to Ray and I was like, "Can we go?" So I think we're gonna go on Sunday. Yeah.
No,
I'm really
please, and
excited.
I need you to post it on social media so we can all see. Because pasta at KFC is crazy.
Yeah, it's like fancy KFC because they also have like special like wine partners for the pop-up. It's like a whole like sit down dining experience. Yeah, kind of
They would never do
amazing.
that in America.
They never would, but I saw that America right now, they're having like the that like SpongeBob Burger King collab coming out, and I'm quite jealous.
I
We're
don't
not
think I've
gonna get
seen
that
that
here.
yet.
Maybe it's
Dang.
old. Maybe I got served old content. Yeah.
That is so crazy though. The pop-ups are always so cool. Like the things that I see popping up, like those stands in Japan, I'm like, wow. Like they do it so well that I'm just like, ours are subpar.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been to a pop-up in America in a long time, but they really do go all out. It's fun.
Do you find that they're like in certain neighborhoods usually, or are they usually scattered?
It's more in like the kind of like busier areas like Shibuya, Shinjuku, Roppongi, like where a lot of like the things are, if that makes sense.
Have you partaken in a lot of the touristy things or
Maybe when I first moved here,
Mhm.
yeah, like Team Lab was fun, but I only needed to go once, I think. And going up to Shibuya Sky was also really nice, but I think I also did that during COVID.
Mhm.
You will never catch me on one of those Mario Kart streetcar things. No shame to anyone who wants to do that, but I think it's kind of its own thing. And yeah, I don't know. I don't really do like too many touristy things. I think it's because
Mhm.
there's it just feels like there's not that I'm against it, because when I'm a tourist in another country, I'm sure I'm the one who's doing all the touristy stuff too, but because I live here, I guess it's just kind
Mhm.
of different. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask if there was like one thing that you would like definitely recommend, like when if you had like 24 hours in Tokyo, here's how I would spend it.
Whoa. If I had 24 hours in 24 hours in Tokyo, and if it was my first time, I would just spend the entire day in like Shibuya. Because there's just so much there. Like it has food, it has like art galleries, it has like a beautiful, like you can go up to Shibuya Sky for a beautiful view. You can shop. You can do honestly whatever, karaoke, you know? I would just stay there. There's so many fun things to do.
So that's
I
the
think,
neighborhood, Shibuya. I agree. I mean, I'm always hearing about that.
yeah,
That's
I
like
think
the
so. Because it's also like, Shibuya Crossing. Everyone likes snapping a little picture over there. It's kind of like the Times Square, maybe, of,
for sure.
yeah, Tokyo. But like when I lived, yeah, so like same, when I lived in New York, I like would never go to Times Square because I was just like, that's not, I don't have the energy levels for that. But so same with touristy stuff here, I guess.
Yeah, it's always so different when you live someplace because then you're just like, why would I do this? But when you're visiting, you're like, wow, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Like I live in
Yeah.
LA, right? I'm not going to Hollywood Boulevard and like going to snap a picture
Right,
of the
right, right, right,
stars,
right.
but like that's
Yeah.
what everybody comes. They're like, let's go see the stars. You're like, okay, like it smells like pee, but let's go.
Does it? I haven't been there in
Oh, it's
so
bad.
long. Oh,
It's bad. Yeah. I mean, they're doing their
I,
best to like keep it clean and stuff like that, but it just,
yeah,
the situation could be better, but
I
it's
know. I saw that Bill Nye, the science guy, just got a star. That's so great.
yeah, yeah. I was like, wow, he deserves it because the way he helped
Yeah.
me through science, I feel like I vividly remember being in middle school and like my science teacher showing me videos of like Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Love him. National treasure.
Yeah, and I don't know, I like how he's speaking up now still. He's like, all right, guys, we need to do this for the environment. I'm like, yes, okay. I'm listening.
Yeah. He's making a comeback.
For sure, he knows his audience. So, what is like one overall piece of advice you would give to someone when they're coming to Japan? Like first timers don't know anything.
I kind of like what we were talking about earlier, just like have fun, but then also just be respectful because you're entering and you're in someone else's like home. It's a completely different culture. And even though you don't understand all the rules, even though you can't speak the language, I think as humans, we're able to pick up on like social cues of when we're being respectful and not being respectful. And so, yeah, I think that that's kind of just the vibe, but like have fun. It's a great place. I really love Tokyo so much. And I think that if you come and visit, you'll have a great time too. There's something
Yes.
for
Well,
everyone
thank
here. Yeah. Yeah.
for sure. I mean, yeah, it's like one of the biggest cities, right? Like around
I think it's like the most like populated city in the world. Like
per capita
my
or
husband,
something.
yeah, yeah, something,
Those words. Some kind of word.
some stat, some statistic.
Well, thank you again so much for coming on and joining us, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. I hope I said interesting, helpful things today, but we'll
Yes.
see.